A bloodbath. CBS News laying off thousands of staffers, including their race and culture unit. You see, my friends, Bari Weiss recently sold her outlet, The Free Press, to CBS News and became the head of CBS News. And the woke are whinging. Oh, they're upset. Now, I've got criticisms of Bari Weiss, but I overall think she's pretty good. I certainly don't believe Free Press was worth $150 million, but CBS, you must truly be desperate. That's the only real way to explain it. When it was announced that CBS was buying Bari Weiss's Free Press for $150 million, a lot of people came out and said, yeah, right. Or I should say, initial reports were that she was planning on selling for $150 million. And I was like, this is stupid. $1 billion gajillion dollars. Get out of here. Well, it turns out they actually did it. And my only assumption is that CBS News is seeing something happen internally, and they are concerned they cannot function. One, the old style of news will not work any longer. News, it's social media. So what do you really need? Not to mention the culture of the company was woke cultism. So they were in trouble. I think it was smart of CBS to make this move, realizing in 10 years you will cease to exist. So how do they then give Bari Weiss $150 million? Well, apparently there's a lot of stock involved, so she's getting equity, maybe not upfront cash. But the reality is, well, her company was not worth it. And I'm going to say this with no problem. Free Press was not worth $150 million. The reason why she was is because CBS has no choice. And that's the only thing that actually makes sense in this. Your conspiracies... The idea would be that CBS went to her and said, we want you to come work for us and bring this here. And she said, nah, I'm rich. And they said, okay, well, we'll give you a lot of money. Just, I'm already rich. Apparently, they had about 100,000 paying subscribers, which is believable, meaning they're pulling in around $1 million a month. Estimates range from about 10 to 15 million per year in revenue generated from a staff that largely doesn't make that much money, which means she's in the profit. Now, for Bari, she's probably sitting on this saying, I make millions of dollars a year. Why would I sell to CBS News? So CBS said, how about $150 million? And she went, I can't say no to that. You know, in the wake of this, I've asked a lot of people if, like, Fox News said they wanted to buy out Timcast for $150 million, should I do it? Literally everybody said yes. And I'm like, really? I know there's going to be a lot of you in the comments who are going to say no. To be fair, I'm not suggesting anyone's approached me with that offer. My attitude has largely been the company does well enough. Timcast, we're growing. We have a healthy income stream and revenue stream. I wish I could say it all goes into my pocket. It doesn't, because I believe more in growing the company and succeeding. It matters more to me to win a culture war and build a better future for the people of this nation than it does for me to own an infinity pool or a Ferrari. But I don't know. I'm curious what you'd think. Should I, if I was ever made an offer or such, should I do it? There's a lot of arguments. Some say you get bigger reach, you get more influence. But again, I'll stress, no one has made that offer to us. I'm just saying when you look at this. So here's where it gets fun. The Race and Culture Unit axed. 2,000 journalists axed at CBS, possibly including woke icon Gayle King. I'd say learn to code, but given H-1Bs, maybe learn to flip burgers. Hey. Smash burgers. That's the dream, a smash burger restaurant. The Daily Mail reports CBS News begins staff cull days after anchor announced his exit. Amid ongoing rumors, Gayle King's days are numbered. Heavens me, my friends. All of these woke individuals are soon to be out of a job. Well, my friends, before we read into this story, I want to give a shout out to a great sponsor. It is Beam Dream. Hey, they help keep the lights on here. This is what we got to do, right? But I got to be honest, I'm a big fan of Beam Dream. When we first got sponsored, I said, okay, this looks interesting, right? I'll try it out. Tastes great. I tried one. I thought it was fantastic. You can go to shopbeam.com/Timcast and pick up your Beam Dream nighttime sleep aid. But let me tell you, after about a week of taking it every night, because it honestly just tasted good, my sleep improved dramatically. It's not an exaggeration. I got a sleep tracker. I'm usually hitting the 90s range now. I was in like the high 80s. Now I'm in like 95 consistently. I love it. So Beam Dream's got magnesium, it's got L-theanine, it's got melatonin. For me, I think the magnesium is really what I was lacking. Skate a lot, and so I would get cramps at night. It would affect my sleep. I've been sleeping like a rock. I'd say a baby, but babies wake up screaming in the middle of the night. So go to shop BEAM.com, shopbeam.com/Timcast. You can get up to 50% off. Check it out, Beam Dream. Thanks for sponsoring the segment. Let's get back to the news. Brutal layoffs are hitting CBS News after its parent company announced a plan to axe more than 2,000 staff across the organization. New editor-in-chief Bari Weiss acknowledged the cuts on the network's morning editorial call Wednesday, Semaphor's Max Tanny reported. Weiss called it an enormously difficult day for the network. David Ellison, the chairman of CBS News Paramount, broke the news about the company-wide layoffs in a note to staff Wednesday morning. In some areas, we are addressing redundancies that have emerged across the organization. In others, we are phasing out roles that are no longer aligned with our evolving priorities, and the new structure designed to strengthen our focus on growth. The layoffs will include an initial round of cuts on Wednesday that will impact 1,000 staffers across various departments. Another 1,000 are soon to follow. At CBS News, nearly 100 positions will be eliminated, a person familiar with the matter told CNN. The source, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the cuts were planned before Weiss arrived at the network. I don't believe you. Okay, I half believe you. It's probably why they hired Bari Weiss in the first place. In addition, layoffs will also hit Paramount's film studio and cable networks, including MTV, Nickelodeon, and BET. Well, let's be real. MTV is just the Rob Dyrdek channel, and there's no point in these cable channels existing anyway. The news comes after CBS Evening News co-host John Dickerson announced his resignation, ending a stint plagued by poor ratings. The 16-year CBS veteran had been quietly negotiating his exit for weeks. Well-connected sources told the Daily Mail earlier this year that executives will most likely not renew Gayle King's contract when it expires. I'm going to tell you, this won't save you. It's not going to save you. Hiring Bari Weiss ain't going to save you. And I'm not trying to be a dick. Timcast IRL is a big show, not really the biggest, but everything's decentralizing. Everyone is finding their own esoteric base. So while certainly my show does well enough to that I'm successful, there's a cap, and everyone's got one. Who do you want to target? How do you want to grow? The days of the Bill Maher, of the Anderson Cooper are over. Even Anderson Cooper and Bill Maher aren't pulling in the numbers they once pulled in because people are looking for who aligns with them more directly. And so what do we see? For Timcast, for us, most of our viewership, or I should say our largest demographic is Chicago. Makes sense. That's where I'm from. So my moderate worldview probably aligns very much so with many people in Chicago, and that's our biggest demographic. It's funny. When I go to Chicago, I get recognized all the time. It's kind of crazy. Well, it's actually quite simple. I'm not from New York, so I don't relate with New Yorkers. Some probably to a certain degree. Same thing with rural, urban, conservative folk to a certain degree, perhaps. We like Trump, I guess. California is actually a big market for us as well. Because if you were an urban liberal with conservative slants, we're probably going to agree. Now, there are many liberals that just hate Trump and will say they hate Trump, and they're going to align with all the urban liberals. Conservatives that are going to church every Sunday are going to align with the conservatives. And when it comes to CBS, who are you pandering to? Who are you aligning with? This mass market will never exist again. Well, maybe it will. I don't know what's going to happen, right? But this is the principal issue, I suppose, for this country. The monoculture is gone. Now, I think CBS saw free press and said, we want to capture this. But the free press generates about 3 million hits per month. Microscopic. I'm going to level with you. We haven't put as much effort, or, I shouldn't say that's not fair, but youtube.com/Timcast and rumble.com/theculturewar. The first channel I ever launched, and it's got 1.4 million subs, and we do about 3 to 4 million hits per month. Yeah, it's got 1.4 million subscribers. Ain't nowhere near that channel being worth $150 million. So how does this make sense? It doesn't. I don't know what CBS's long-term play is, but I'm happy to see they're gutting their woke garbage. I think CBS will never be that big again. The monoculture is gone, as I already stressed. And they bought the free press to say, this is the last bastion. It's where we will stand. It's kind of wild to think that we've come to this point. that CBS is buckling. I don't know how you ever get that monoculture back. I really don't. Now, it is possible. What we'll end up seeing is these big media companies, Fox, CBS, ABC, whatever, start coming after the likes of us. CBS going to Bari Weiss very much proves it, though, to be fair. She was a New York Times typical journalist as it was. She just called out the wokeness since she gets hired. What we're watching now, if you watch Fox News, for instance, Will Cain show, great show, by the way. But when he does a lot of his interviews, they're in-studio podcast-style interviews on Fox TV, which I find to be very interesting. There are a lot of networks. I go on Fox, they'll send me a van. And if I go on Jesse Waters' show in person, which I've done a couple times in recent history, big fan of Jesse as well, they give me an earpiece. I sit at a table. I look at him. I talk for 5 minutes. I leave. With the Will Cain show, they're adapting. This is a good thing. They bring guests in to sit down with a podcast-style microphone with Will Cain. It is happening, slowly but surely. I believe it's only a matter of time before you're going to start seeing these big networks realize they need to buy out the likes of Bari Weiss or otherwise. Now, Spotify and Apple and whoever else, these big networks, are trying to license podcast shows. I think Fox News is going to make a big move on a lot of these podcasts. They have to. They've got Fox Nation, but this is the kind of content people are consuming for now. So we'll see. In the meantime, can we not at least revel and gloat over the firing of the woke? I'll leave it there. Smash the like button, share the show with everyone. Stay tuned. More to come. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you on the next segment.